Letting your body just find a place to settle. Maybe letting the eyes close here. There's a little bit of a tyrant ruler who has decided to build or to have built a monument to himself. Feeling the way in which you're receiving the nourishment of your inhale. And the way in which you're giving nourishment on the exhale. So this tyrant has decided that the monument that will be built in his honor will extend from the kingdom beyond the clouds. Let's give ourselves just another 15 seconds here. And when it's appropriate for you, let the eyes open if they are closed. Let's transition our way to a hands and knees tabletop position. Let's play the fingers out nice and wide. Feel that base connection with your hands and energize the forefingers. And then let's push our left toe mound straight back and flex into the left quad so that the left leg, femur, tibia, and fibia are operating as one structure here. Kind of think about energizing through the calcaneus bone and straight out the back of your mat. And then we'll retract that leg so that it mirrors the right. And once again, think about that four-finger connection, the fingerprints, and we'll do the same thing to the second side. Right foot slides back. We want to have enough quad flex that the leg structure, the bones, the upper and lower half of the leg, align with themselves and really give us the ability to drive that energy through the center of the heel. And let's return that so that it mirrors the left. Curl both toes underneath you and just roll yourself back into a down dog. A little bit early to get elevated here, but just think about how your body is exploring this posterior chain length. Maybe you pedal out the calves a little bit here. Think about transitioning some of that high calf insertion length that we've already put into the body up into the hamstrings or maybe into the low back. And then let's bring our way down to hands and knees tabletop. We'll flip the tops of the feet and sink our way into child's pose. And as you land here, little opportunity just to check in with what your respiration rate has done. Think about how the circulatory system is responding to the movement in practice thus far. We'll give ourselves just another 10 seconds here. When it feels appropriate for you, we'll pull our way forward to hands and knees tabletop. Once again, think about setting up that hand energy and let's slide our left foot straight back. This time we're going to ground the left heel and move the right hand more towards the center of the mat so that we can open the left hand into a little modified side angle here. Think about energizing the lateral edge, pinky toe edge of the left foot and keeping enough quad flex so that again we have the upper and lower legs operating as one little unit. And let's drop our left hand back down to the mat. We'll retract our left knee and move our right hand back to its appropriate side of the mat. Little tailbone sway here. We let the lumbar just play with the space. And then eventually we'll bring our tailbone back to neutral. We'll do the same thing to the second side. The right foot's going to slide back. Right toe mound's going to capture the engagement with the mat. Then the heel grounds. Left hand to the center of the mat. Right hand rolls ourselves into a nice little twist. Solid shoulder stack. And when you feel balance left to right, let's drop that right hand. We'll move the left hand back to its side of the mat. Right knee returns, and another little opportunity to sway the hips here. Just a little play with lumbar movement. Notice as you're moving the hips back and forth, if you've dumped all the weight into the heels of the hands. And if you have, re-engage the fingerprints, the finger mounds, splay the fingers out as wide as you can get them. Think about energizing the four fingers. And then let's curl our toes, lift our seat, and roll our way back into another version of down dog. And once again, we can pedal this out. Little opportunity for exploration. Eventually, we'll settle into the depth of a down dog and just feel this for a moment. Just think about how relaxed you can be in your version of down dog. And then let's walk our way to the front of the mat. And we'll inhale into a half lift. As you get yourself elevating the crown of the head, gaze straight down. Think about the crown pushing straight out. And really think about the length you can offer the spinal column. See if you can feel the space between the vertebrae expand here. And then think about that sensation of vertebrae expansion, of disc space as you lower yourself back into your fold. And hang with that for a moment. Can you now allow gravity to interplay with the spine in a way where we build space? And then let's shift our awareness to our sacrum and we'll roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. And as you get yourself vertical, flex into the quads and feel the way that by flexing into the quads, the glutes have to compensate, and we can ground the energy into the feet just a little more intently so that we really get that strength lifting us into this space. Let's bring our hands together at heart center, and we'll slide our left foot straight back into lunge. Once you get this set up, think about taking the bend out of the back knee, and then we're going to ground the left heel and just blossom our way into a little warrior two. Now, you may argue we're not like warmed up enough to fully express warrior two. Think about fully expressing the capacity that you have right now. So we're aligning the spinal column. We're thinking about that medial orientation and then just broadening the shoulder structure from there, gazing right down the center of the right middle finger. And then we'll spin our left heel up and we'll find a little crescent. And just drop your hands to the mat and slide your left foot forward for a fold that we can inhale into half lift. And once again, build the elongation of our spine. Gaze is straight down. Think about using the strength of the posterior chain and the anterior chain with a nice compensatory amount of energy to elongate the spine. And then with that idea of space between the vertebrae, drop your way back into fold. Shift our awareness to our sacrum. We'll roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Once again, as you stack the spinal column, flex the quads, think about what is required of the glutes to compensate, and think about energizing straight down through your feet to build that foundation. Then we're gonna do the same thing to the second side. So the right foot's gonna slide straight back, hands are at heart center. Once you get the foundation of the shape, we'll ground the right heel and roll to 2. Thinking again here about the medial line orientation, center of the body, really feeling that and then broadening from it. And we'll spin our right heel and find crescent. And slide the hands down to the mat. And we'll step the right foot forward into a fold. Inhale into half lift. Space the vertebrae out as you get into half lift. Think about pushing energetically the crown of the head straight out. And think about the vertical orientation of the tibia, of the fibula, of the femur into that hip socket. And then we'll relax our way back into fold. As you exhale into the bottom of this fold, see if you can release your head so that it relaxes into depth. And then let's plant our hands. We'll walk our way back into down dog. Load the weight into the hips. We'll come down to hands and knees, tabletop. And let's slide our way back into child's pose. This time, if it feels accessible for you, let's take our hands and place them on the sacrum so that the thumbs and index fingers come together, forming a diamond. Palms are facing away from you. That's only if that feels appropriate for you. We're just gonna breathe here with a little bit of shoulder kind of intention or expansion. So this monument that's going to be built is going to require the entirety of the kingdom to be more or less resource deprived. The material is going to be the finest marble that anyone can find on this planet. And the entire kingdom is kind of put on notice that until this project is done, this monument, this monumental kind of obelisk that will extend skyward is done, the rest of the kingdom is going to be needing, wanting. So another 10 seconds here. And when it feels appropriate, let's release our hands. We'll let those slide out in front of us. And then let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. And we're gonna extend our legs straight out in front of us for a little staff. A little atypical, kind of quarter of the class seated position. Get your spine nice and tall, or as tall as your body will allow. And then let's just find our way into a forward fold. Depending on what your forward fold feels like here, there's some options. So hands can be anywhere, right? Hands can be on the thighs, hands can be on the shins, hands can be on the ankles, hands can be on the toe mounts. Where our hands end up really not determinant of what we're going to get out of the shape. If you feel like everything is being held and bunched and restricted to the hamstrings, all the sensation is in the hamstrings, let's bend the knees as much as we need to alleviate that sensation, or to mobilize that sensation, a better way to put that. I'm gonna move the sensation from the hamstrings to the low back. Once we get the hamstrings out of the shape, so no matter how much knee bend that requires, see if it's possible to then get your hands onto the toe mounts. If it's not possible to get the hands on the toe mounts, then we're just gonna stay right where we are. We're gonna breathe and we're gonna continue to work our way forward. If we can get our hands on our toe mounts, once we do, We're going to push our toe mounds forward. Remember, this is about low back expansion. So if this is all hamstrings, we need to bend the knees more. But the goal is going to be to use a little forward toe pressure to help elongate some of that QL musculature. Those big full straps of musculature on either side, both sides of the spinal column. And we're going to give ourselves another 30 seconds here. And when it feels appropriate, we're going to come out of that. Oh, although I would have loved to stay in that for a little bit. Let's transition to hands and knees tabletop. And we'll set up there again. So now we have kind of a new lumbar awareness. And you may be a little bit more tender there than you expected. Let's give a little lateral sway. Just enough movement so that we kind of awaken and integrate the upper and lower half of the body. And eventually tailbone comes back to neutral. Give yourself that nice flat back, curl your toes, lift your seat, and find your way into down dog. Let's walk our way to the front of the mat. Inhale into half lift. Flat, neutral, expansive spine. Exhale back into fold. Think about the way your weight distribution is happening across the toe mounds. And then let's shift our awareness to our sacrum and we'll roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Eventually coming to a mountain alignment, flexing the quads, compensating with the glutes, and energizing the feet down. Maybe letting your eyes close here so that we have this opportunity to just experience the stability of our shape. And when it feels appropriate for you, allowing the eyes to open, receiving light once again. Let's take our left foot and we'll slide it straight back into lunge. And then see if you can just wiggle that left foot back maybe another half inch or so. And we'll fully express crescent. And then float your hands down to the mat. As the hands come down to the mat, let's slide back into our right hamstring. A pyramid. As we do this, there's a huge tendency for our right toe mound to want to peel away from the mat. Keep energizing down into the right toe mound as you elongate that hamstring. Remember that we don't need to take the full bend out of the knee. All we're looking to do is create some backward pressure to the posterior chain, changing the pressure from the four toes or from the foot mound to the hamstring. Low hamstring insertions where most of us will feel this. And then we'll bend the right knee and step the left foot forward, finding fold, inhaling into half lift. Exhale back into fold. And let's roll our way up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Finding our way to mountain. Maybe closing your eyes once again, getting that glute squeeze, getting that quad squeeze, feeling the compensatory amounts of energy on the anterior and posterior chain so that we stabilize our shape. Eventually, when it feels appropriate for you, we'll allow the eyes to open, we'll receive some light, and we'll slide our right foot straight back into lunge. And same thing, we're just gonna wiggle that back just for a little bit of extra space. Sweep the arms, fully express our crescent. And we're taking the bend out of the back knee. We're smoothing into that front quad. When it feels appropriate for you, hands drop to the mat. And we'll slide back into our left hamstring. Again, the weight's gonna wanna peel away from the left toe mound. Drive that energy down. At the same time you're driving that energy down, we're trying to manifest some sensation, some awareness of the posterior chain here. Splaying the feet out wide, keeping ourselves nice and energized. There's going to come a time when you feel balanced left to right, whenever that is, with no rush to make that true. We'll step our right foot forward and we'll inhale into half lift. Good, long, flat back. Good, long cervical spine. Try to feel the space in between the vertebrae. And then let's drop our way back into fold. Eventually, we will drift our awareness to our sacrum, and we're going to roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. And bring our hands together at heart center. Slide our left foot straight back into lunge. Sweep your way to crescent. And then drop the hands to heart center. And we're going to step our left foot halfway forward, so that we can ground both the right and left heel. Ensure that both feet are roughly hip 2 fist distance, and both feet are pointed straight forward. And then let's take our hands behind us here. And so we're gonna look at the anterior hip crease as kind of our mechanism for mobility. And we're just gonna start from that anterior hip crease to tilt our torso forward. Now, this may only be 25 degrees, 30 degrees. This may be to 45 degrees or maybe to 90 degrees. But wherever we end up, we're just thinking about the legs staying stable and we're just tilting right at that hip crease. Again, this is awareness or sensation within the posterior chain, within the hamstrings. Lift ourselves back to a stand and slide your left foot forward. And just feel the asymmetry here. You can release the arms and bring the hands back to heart center. Just feel how the body feels left to right. And when it feels appropriate, we'll move to the second side. Right foot slides straight back. Rebuild that shape. We'll sweep the arms. And then drop your hands to heart center and we'll step halfway forward. Bring our hands behind us. You can interlace. You can have the hands on the hips. You can have the hands on the sacrum, whatever feels best for you. The key is we're just trying to take the arms out of this shape. And then awareness drifts to the anterior hip crease. And we just start to tilt our way forward. Wherever that feels appropriate for us is our stopping point. Both feet are pointed straight forward. The toes are splayed out wide. The weight distribution is nice and equivalent across both toe mounds. I'm just trying to feel the posterior chain come alive here. When you feel balanced left to right, we'll bring ourselves back up to stand, step our right foot forward, and feel how the hamstrings are speaking to you here, are communicating with you here. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Turn the palms towards the front of your room and slowly, really gently fold through. If you've found more space in that fold, let's plant our hands. We'll walk our way into down dog. And let's come down to hands and knees tabletop. Flip the tops of the feet and sink our way back into child's pose. As you Settle back in child's pose. Allow your body to relax. We've taken off all of the posterior chain pressure. That may not be 100% true, right? Pressure is probably the wrong word there. We've taken the tension out of the posterior chain. And so just allow for that back side of the body to just relax a little bit. So as promised, this leader starts pulling financial resources, physical labor resources away from everywhere in the kingdom. And everything is put towards building this giant monument. And the pieces of massive slabs of marble are cut into these perfectly fit pieces. And even with all the resources of the kingdom, and even with all the labors of the kingdom, it's not progressing fast enough for this ruler. So he comes down almost every day to berate the workers. With the resources of the kingdom all directed at this one project, other areas of the kingdom start to experience problems. Things start to feel a little bit more run down. Roads start to be a little bit more potholed and broken. Give ourselves just 20 more seconds here. Little opportunity to recheck with your respiration, with your circulatory system. See if anything wants or needs to be unwound. And when it feels appropriate, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees, tabletop. We're going to extend our legs out in front of us once again. And as the legs extend out, same little opportunity to check in, right? We're just going to take a forward fold first. We're going to see how that feels, and then we're going to make the adjustment so that we're not feeling that in the hamstring. So bending the knees as much as needs to be to take that sensation out. See if you can get the hands on the toe mounds. If you can, let's push those toe mounds forward. It's like a really nice way to put some true traction into the spine. Again, we have to take the hamstrings out of this to really get us into the spinal column expansion. But if we can, what a nice little thing to do. Let's just give ourselves 60 seconds here. Last 30 seconds. See if you can find just a little bit more space. Can you relax just a little bit more deeply? Can you use your respiration for ease here? Last 10 seconds. When it feels appropriate, let's bring ourselves back up into a nice vertical line. We'll transition to hands and knees tabletop. As you get yourself into hands and knees tabletop, splay those fingers out nice and wide. Think about how the base position becomes the foundation for integration of the spine as you sway the tailbone. Every time you cross that neutral point, really feel everything click into place so that the space you put into the spinal column is aligned with that medial intention of the spinal column's location in the body. And then the next time that we pass neutral, let's pause there. We'll curl our toes, lift our seat, find our way into down dog. Breath as you get some depth here. And when it feels appropriate for you, let's walk our way to the front of the mat. Inhale into half lift. Spine gets long, neutral, and flat. Crown of the head extends so that we can build this space in the spinal column, and let's drop our way back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum. We'll roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Flex into the quads, to the glutes. Build that stability. Maybe you let your eyes close here for a little bit of mountain. And when it feels appropriate for you, let's slide our left foot straight back into lunge. Probably should open the eyes first. Ground your left heel. We'll roll our way up into 2. Think again here about the way in which your weight is distributed, the feeling of the medial line. Let's slide back into our right hamstring. Just tilt our way forward for a little triangle. Try to stack the shoulders here. Try to feel the energy in the right toe mound. Remember that the right knee can bend. You do not need to keep that leg locked out. We're really just trying to find some space here. When it feels appropriate for you, let's bring our left hand down to the mat. We'll bring our left heel up. Keep that energy in your left hand and right toe mound and take the right hand up into a nice twist. The left leg is going to want to rotate in. Make sure that left heel stays pointed straight up, straight back. And then we'll plant the right hand. Step our left foot forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Feel how the hamstrings, feel that bilateral comparison. What's going on the right side of the body that's not going on the left? What's going on the left side of the body that's not going on the right as you settle into the depth of your fold? And when it feels appropriate, let's roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Going all the way into mountain. Flexing the glutes, flexing the quads. Thinking about the stability here, maybe letting the eyes close for a moment just so that we can re-engage, reappreciate the stability we've created. This time we'll allow the eyes to open before we move. When it feels appropriate, we can slide our right foot straight back into lunge. Ground your right heel, roll your way into 2. Think about setting that medial line. And then when you feel appropriate, we'll slide back into the left hamstring, tilt our way forward into a little triangle. Remember, you do not need to keep that front leg locked out. We're just trying to build some space here. Working our way towards posterior chain space. We want to have energy in that right toe mound. Toes are splayed out wide. And then eventually, when you feel balance left to right, the right heel is going to spin up, the right hand's going to come down. We're going to keep the energy in our left foot and right hand as we take the left hand into a twist. Remember, that right heel is going to want to follow. Stay with that heel pointed straight up. And when you feel balance left to right, left hand comes down. We'll step to the front of our mat. Inhale into half lift. exhale back into fold. Same thing, little bilateral check-in. How's the left and right side of the body comparing to one another? Can we be as deeply at ease as we want to be here in our fold? And then we'll drift our way up, maybe rolling, maybe sweeping, but finding our way into mountain. Bring our hands together, heart center. Feeling the glute engagement, feeling the quad engagement, thinking about if the eyes closed is beneficial to us. If we do have the eyes closed, we'll allow them to open. And we'll bring our hands behind us so that we can interlace the fingers. If interlace doesn't feel right, a little grip onto the shorts or pants. Or you can take the backs of the hands to the sacrum. And then let's take our feet out from 2 fist distance to like 4 fist distance so that we're a little wider than we'd normally be. And with that additional width, just drive the hands down and note how this changes the anterior posterior kind of engagement. We may capture some of this anterior shoulder shelf from the sternum out to the lateral edge. And then again, we're gonna think about the anterior hip shelf, the anterior hip crease, as our mechanism for mobilization, and we'll tilt ourselves forward. Now, very easy here to do this and push the glutes back. I'm trying to do it, but doing a bad job. So think about how you can keep the vertical orientation of the tibia and fibia. If you do that, femurs kind of follow. And you can go all the way through fold. And then we're going to inhale up to half lift. So you get to half lift, it's a little bit harder here to feel that check-in point, but really try to find the spot and then push the hands back like you're trying to push them through the back of the room, and then release the arms zombie style straight down and follow the arms into the fold and see if you can feel how that mid back, so like thoracic down, from the base of the thoracic spine down, just releases into some depth. Let's plant our hands. We'll walk our way into down dog. We'll come down to hands and knees tabletop, flip the tops of the feet, and sink our way into child's pose. Let your body melt and relax and be at ease here. With all the marble material coming into this town, this kind of capital city of this kingdom, the road is getting very beat up. And, people keep bringing this to this ruler and saying, the road's getting dilapidated here. We need to take care of it. And he's saying, I've told everyone in the kingdom, resources will be diverted to this project until it's done. If they want it done faster, they should come work on this. And every day he goes down and he yells at people and he tells them they're doing a terrible job and he tells them they're doing it too slowly. Finally, one of his advisors very smartly figures out a way that they can get the road fixed. When it feels appropriate for you, as it feels appropriate for you, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. One last time, we're going to extend our legs out in front of us. Same trick we have been doing. We're going to take a brief forward fold just to feel the body. Then we will bend the knees until the hamstrings are no longer implicated in the shape. If we can get the hands on the toe mounds, we'll do that. If not, we just stay where we are. If we can get the hands on the toe mounds, we're going to push the toe mounds forward and elongate our spine. We'll give ourselves 60 seconds here. And so this advisor very cleverly says, if we have this huge, massive monument but we have a road that is so broken, so dilapidated that no one can come to visit it. Wouldn't that be a shame? The ruler kind of sees the logic in this. And so kind of begrudgingly he says, okay, you can hire one worker to build this road. And so that's what's done. They bring this local craftsman in, and she is going to have to find her own materials, use her own tools, but build this stone road. She's going to cut every stone she can find to a perfect fit. And she very lovingly sets upon this task. And she's left alone. And so every day she wakes up, she starts chiseling little stones to the perfect fit and fits them into this roadway. And she creates this perfectly flat roadway, slowly, inch by inch, but with a smile on her face. Last 20 seconds here. When it feels appropriate for you, we'll release ourselves back through staff and then onto our spine. Pretty big posterior chain day. So as you get onto your spine for potentially the first time since you woke up this morning, really notice how the body is speaking to you. We asked a lot of the posterior chain this practice, so it may have a lot to say. But listen to it here for a moment. Give ourselves just about 30 seconds just to kind of tune in to what the body is telling us. When it feels appropriate for you, bring our knees into a bent position if they're not already. And then we're going to start some lateral sway. And this can be kind of small movements. This can be large, full movements. The goal here is to find some exploratory twists. And so for years, the process kind of repeats. This woman gets up and she works on slowly hand building this road. And nearly the rest of the resources of this kingdom are devoted towards building this huge marble obelisk that can extend beyond the clouds. And that is an increasingly difficult task because the higher this gets, the more difficulty the workers have in raising these marble slabs. And so the progress is never fast. And the ruler of this kingdom is increasingly impatient, and the morale of the workers around this obelisk is increasingly decreasing, constantly decreasing, as they're berated day after day after day. The next time the knees fall over to the left, let's let them stay there, settle there, pause there. Find a little static placement there. At the same time, the morale of this woman building the road, while the progress is slow and the work is grueling, is constantly increasing. She's constantly seeing the progress she has made. She's constantly taking these fine little measurements, and it's rolling out in exactly the way she had imagined it would. It's going to be this road right through the center of this village, all the way to the back of the village where this obelisk is going to tower over everything. So just about 15 more seconds here on this first side. When it feels appropriate for you, let's bring our knees back to neutral. Kneecaps point towards the ceiling. Let your sacrum settle here. And then eventually we'll let the knees fall over to the second side, the right side. For the next decade or so, progress remains fairly constant. The obelisk continues to get taller, and the road continues to get longer. And while the morale of these two work crews, or this crew and this woman, couldn't be more dichotomous, the quality and craftsmanship of their work mirrors one another. They're both impeccable. There is no room for error in either project. One is just done joylessly, and one is done lovingly. Last 15 seconds here on the second side. And when it feels appropriate, we'll bring our knees back to neutral. And just ask ourselves, let your body settle first. Let the sacrum settle first. And then ask yourself if there's anything that you might need, that you might want, that you might benefit from prior to Shavasana. Ask yourself if there are any movements, tweaks, or adjustments that would be impactful for you here. And if there are, let's just offer those to our body. And then when you're ready for some stillness, just settle into a shape where you can appreciate some stillness. Well, the two projects move forward. The road is obviously slower. It is slower because it is one woman. And one day the ruler of this kingdom is headed out of town. And he sees this woman on her hands and knees, kind of pushing a stone into this road. And he has the horses, the chariot stop. And he calls out to her, and he's very insulting. He says, what are you doing to my road there, woman? And she looks up, sees that it is this ruler, and a big smile splashes across her face. And she says, I'm building it, sir, building this road. And he again responds very insultingly. He had no idea that a woman had been hired for this project. But he kind of scoffs at her and says, oh, of all people. And of course, well, you keep splashing around in the dirt there while the important work of the obelisk is almost finished. And then he heads out of town. And eventually both projects were finished. This beautiful, towering obelisk. And this road that led from the start of this village all the way to this monumental monument to ego. Just drifting into your version of Shavasana here. eventually this monument was known throughout the region for centuries. The kingdom stood, and this monument was a source of pride for this kingdom. The king that it was built for, of course, long past, but this obelisk, towering above everything, stood the test of time. It outlived the kingdom itself. Like all kingdoms, it fell. And eventually, the village that this giant monument was built in became deserted. And centuries passed. And the calcite in the marble did what calcite does. It expands and contracts with temperature change, but not equally in all directions. And so over the course of hundreds and hundreds of years, the weight distribution in this monument shifted and changed. And one day the monument fell into this huge pile of crushed marble. We'll start to bring some movement to our fingers and our toes, into our wrists and our ankles, to our elbows and our knees, our shoulders and our hips, our neck, our head, our jaw, our eyes, our tongue. Eventually, the whole body will move, and we'll utilize that movement to transition our way into a seat. In this seated space, spine gets tall, breath gets fluid, eyes close. Hundreds and hundreds of years into the future, this group of travelers, they're looking for a place to build their village. And they come across this road, this perfect, immaculate road. And they follow it through this old, ruinous city, this village. And the road just ends at this huge pile of marble. They think it must be a quarry. And they look back and they see the immaculateness, the beauty, the wonder of this road leading right through the center of this huge flat area. And they fall to their knees in awe, just looking at how perfect this road was, built for them. And that's where they build their city. With your next inhale, let's bring our hands together at Heart Center. We'll let our eyes close if they're not already. Over the course of the next 7 days, can you remind yourself that oftentimes it is not what we do, but how we do it that will have the lasting impact, and see how that changes your experience. Thank you so much for being a part of this evening's practice and for being you. Namaste.